Welcome to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, founder and attorney at Meldon Law, and I have a great guest with us today, John Palmer, who's also the founder and owner of Patriot Vision Industries, which helps people who are visually impaired lead a more normal life. Welcome to the show, John. How you doing?
Thank you. Very good. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so we had a little chance to talk before the show, and I'm absolutely fascinated at what you're doing to help visually impaired people. Let's start back in the beginning. I know you went to the University of Florida, so being a Gator makes you great just in and of itself, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And what you've done as a result of some of your internship at the University of Florida really intrigued me. So let's start at the beginning. Go back to your days as a Gator and how it led you to what career you've been involved in for the last 40 years.
Oh, thank you. So I went to UF before graduation. It was a little bit of a surprise. A professor of finance said, you guys got to get hired by somebody and do an internship. And so I went down to apply, in essence, for a job, it seems like. And it was an optical factory startup in Fort Lauderdale. And the gentleman had his own idea of what he wanted to create in manufacturing eyeglass lenses and needed help. And so I had a little construction business. I started when I was 18. I was basically here in Gainesville doing mobile home skirting and fencing. And I said, hey, why not build out those benches and things that he needs? And I did. And that's when I was fascinated with optical manufacturing. And he made me a job offer after I graduated. So I graduated December of 85 and started early on over there at the optical factory. And that's where it all kind of started, you know.
Well, what was the state of the art back then in the late 80s?
So lenses were plastic, or had previously been glass, and some of the new materials like transitions weren't even out yet. Progressives was the most emerging technology for lenses, and I was fascinated with all. I'm a science fair buff. I love science is in my blood. So we helped develop, working with big companies like PPG and 3M and so forth, Norton Abrasives, how to manufacture those lenses better. And based on that, I had made the joke, and after a couple of years of doing this, is I want to help people that eyeglasses aren't good enough for. And there was nothing there but a magnifier, just like a Sherlock Holmes magnifier. And that company was actually in England, and they flew over to see me because they heard about, I reached out to them, and they made me a dealer for the United States for their magnifier line. It was just crazy back then to do that. And everybody was like, oh, that's going to be interesting. There was really relatively nothing available for someone with what we call low vision. That's someone whose vision is compromised to the point where eyeglasses or surgery or medical intervention just does not work. And so I developed low vision aids in 1990, and it just took off from there, helping people help themselves.
Yeah, let's go into a little bit about who are the people that you service and help.
Okay, so people who are diagnosed, back then, it's a little bit different than it is now in terms of the treatments that are available. But back then, you would be basically finding blurry vision, curved lines, street pole would look crooked, something like that. And
like macular
that's
pucker.
It. Yeah, exactly. A macular pucker or macular degeneration being the diagnosis of the eye disease. Age-related macular degeneration is sort of the broad term used because it is significantly age-related. As we age, our eyes can develop this disease. So
yeah, it's interesting, John, that you talk about that because I actually had a macular pucker, and I went down to Baskin Palmer.
Sure.
And a Dr. Smith down there does macular puckers all day long.
Right.
And for those listening and watching, it's like if you're looking at a tic-tac-toe board, the lines are wavy.
Correct. They call that Amsler grid, and that's how you would test to see if that was the issue. And Bascom Palmer was actually one of my first institutional clients that I supplied them everything back in the early 90s for a long, long time. And in Miami, it was the only campus back then, but then it grew into 4 different other locations. So, yeah, it's one of my customers along with other.
It was interesting because I didn't really, have any other eye problems, right?
Right.
And it was the way they explained it to me was, it was like having a piece of cellophane that got crinkled up and that they needed to kind of straighten it out.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. And so, fortunate that when treatments are available. So, and over the years, treatments have gotten better. There's anti-VEGF pharmaceutical injections in the eye that allow the blood vessels that grow behind the retina to be reduced or managed and controlled. So over the time, from when I started to what it is now, the technology then has become better in leaps and bounds. But something significant changed a few years into starting the business when one of the former Polaroid engineers started a company for electronic optics. And that just fascinated me. I heard about him. And so I asked him, I said, hey, my name's John. I'm in Florida. I want to talk to you about your video magnifier. And he said, come up to Boston and let's talk. And as soon as I arrived, I'll tell you the story. It's so cute. Him and his partner, Bob Mansfield, Dave Rosette, both of them said, oh, I'm sorry, there's a big misunderstanding. You're too young. That's exactly what he said.
How old were you?
It was young. I was 24, like 23.
Yeah, you look pretty young now for your age.
Well, thank you.
You must have looked really young, right?
Thank my mom. Okay. So, yeah. And so I was like, well, I spent the time to fly over here and I stayed at the hotel here. Do you mind at least listening to me? And I just won them over. And in the beginning of that relationship happened, I took on their video magnifier. It's a company called Opelec. And it was just fascinating to me how much that helped. So it combines, like chocolate and peanut butter, it creates the peanut butter cup. Well, it combines the optics with the electronics, and it became super magical as terms of a video magnifier can enlarge an item large enough with enough contrast. Contrast is important, that you could read. Back then, the newspaper was very popular too. And so you could read. And someone could read their bank statement. They could read their mail. They could read their contracts that they're doing with their law firm, like Meldon, or whatever. It's really cool how that helps so many people. And that has stayed to be the mainstay. That's one of our core products, is video magnifying with high contrast. And it was just a match made in heaven, and we grew the business together. Him being the manufacturer, me being the distributor, and then I developed my own brand about 27 years ago, Patriot, and I started to design the products for the way my clients want it, and that was the big key. Is it's not really what I thought was the best. I was listening to the customer, and they would tell me things, and I'm like, okay, and I just did what they wanted. And that changed things a lot, because once we emphasized our brand, we grew faster and we helped more people help themselves. And it just became like magical at that moment, because we had family of product that continued to grow based on the client's needs. Lighter, smaller, thinner, more powerful, battery operated, things like that. And yeah.
So you're dealing with visually impaired folks. Now, I know that you were heavily involved with the veterans hospitals, and is that how the term Patriot got involved?
Yeah, well, it was the missiles that were defending during the Gulf War. That's where I came up with the name. It wasn't anything politics. It wasn't anything like that. It was just like, I like that name, and I said, to me, it's like independence, being liberated, sort of when you are in a world of like dark despair and things are closing in and you're becoming to the point where you can't drive again and nothing can help you. You're now at that moment where you would like to know us. One of my great customers said, you can wish you never see John, and I'm just using the term my business, right? But you're going to thank heaven that you do meet his technology in him, because it can really bring you back into a world of inclusive, a world that is not as dark. Another great client said, you brought me from what was dark despair to bright hope. and she's an advocate in the governor's office and things. She's an incredible lady that is a victim of crime and lost her vision during that episode of what happened, but that circumstance. And it's just that kind of testimonials is what drives us. It really changes people's lives.
I mean, you've been in this industry now 40 years. It must be amazing to you to see the progress. So let's jump ahead to, where we're at right now in as helping people that are visually impaired. And, give us I know you have a store location in Ocala.
That's right.
You're very involved with the North Central Florida community.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So the store is centrally located right off of I-75, exit 341. It's the Museum of Drag Racing exit, I call it.
Don Garlitz.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. Located there about 27 years ago. In the anchor, we were the anchor in that plaza, I like to say, because we were in the center of it, a big space. Now Dollar Tree took our space, so we moved around over to the side. But regardless, we're same location, making it easy for people to get to right off the interstate. A lot of loved ones, their kids, their grandkids take their grandma or grandpa, there. Let's put it that way. Actually, an interesting story of our stores. We had the provost from UF visit, and I recognized he looked familiar because he was one of the math professors back when I was in college. He wasn't my professor, but I knew his name, and then and it was amazing. He said, "Yeah, you helped my mom so much. She lives here in Oak-Hammock, and I wanted to really get her a gift for Mother's Day," is what he said. Something small, and I was touched by that. That was like meeting one of your, I don't know, just coolest thing ever to see your professor from college in your store. It's like, I don't know. To me, it's like I was an entrepreneur when I went to school, and then UF had it was a touching moment, I thought, for me. So,
well, I mean, look, you're in the profession of helping people. Yeah. And when you have a vision disability, it changes the world. We were talking about it earlier, about all those things that, some people describe it as despair. They feel disconnected. They feel like they used to be able to do these things and now they're not. So where are we at in 2025 as far as what's available for people with disabilities?
So it's incredible. We introduced AI into some of our technology now. So what that means is it can do way beyond what it did prior to AI. So our Patriot voice is an appliance, real easy to use. In fact, I brought back the old analog knobs. Everything's push button nowadays, but with our clients, I made it very tactile, and I presented to them a machine that can allow a totally blind person or partially sighted person, nonetheless, or any kind of cognitive or post-traumatic stress, or like a traumatic brain injury, I should say, or dyslexia or something having to do with access to print, help them by converting the print or the image, whatever the image is, to a natural audio synthetic voice. And I happen to bring that machine.
Yeah, let's show it to the folks that are viewing, and to those listening. It's a pretty neat.
Look at those knobs. They're tactile, so they're easy and function to use.
Yeah, I get if you're visually impaired, it's a lot. Having a knob, and there's 3 knobs up there for those of you listening at the top, and you can you turn them.
That's right. They push button and turn. So you have one to control speed, you have one to control volume, and one to control spelling the word, because spelling actually is a very important requested from blind community. And then you could go forward, backwards, and navigate the text. So if you place your document here, your magazine, your mail, it's going to give you a full readout of that. Or alternatively, you could hold down the center knob and it will access AI, provided you have a wireless internet at home, Wi-Fi. And you don't have to have Wi-Fi to use it, but to use the AI component, you would. And then it'll just go on to tell you the synopsis of what you really want to know. Hey, John, this is your credit card statement. This is when the payment's due. This is how much it's due. You had 10 charges. It's this much. Or here's a Walmart receipt. It's the stuff that we take for granted when we're sighted. You just do every day. Those things are what our clients need. and then they're empowered, and then they're not so reliant on having to have their daughter, granddaughter come over twice a week to read their mail for them or things like that. And let's face it, we all want to do things ourselves. If we can do things ourselves, it's just less burden on everyone. And it's just the way this appliance, it's just the way it was designed, is to be easy to use, like your toaster, like your blender, whatever, as an appliance in the home. And it's very popular actually for clients that have vision loss.
Now, is it audio?
So yes,
it's audio only, right?
That's correct. That's right. It takes your vision, and so it doesn't, regardless if you have any vision at all. It's simpler to just sit back and grasp hold of listening, and it'll read barcodes on packages. Let's face it. A package might feel like it's potato chips, but you don't know if it's not potato chips, because there's a lot of packages that are identical with different flavors of things or different things. It could be Coke or Sprite, or we don't know until we put it. And so you put it there, and it locks in quickly, instant, like within a fraction of a second.
So all you have to do is take your potato chip bag and put how can people who are visually impaired figure out where the barcode is and stuff?
Yeah, it's amazing actually. You could feel the platform because it's defined, and then you just place the bag and just move it around. It doesn't matter how you just move it. It's going to block in on it. It's going to lock in on it, and it's going to instantly go, this is what this is. It's, Lay's potato chips, 28 ounces, and it'll give you nutrition information. It'll also give you cooking instructions. If it's cooking, that's a big request, and it works. It reads handwriting. It describes pictures. I mean, that's just amazing. The description of a picture. It's phenomenal what it can do and what it does do on a routine basis. And so,
see, I thought a barcode when you go through the grocery store just gave you the price.
Yeah, right.
Right.
There's a whole battery of information.
All these other things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's important, especially with the dietitians. Like the Department of Veteran Affairs is one of our clients. They have a program for clients, whether it's service connected or not, doesn't matter if they're become visually impaired or blind, legally blind, low vision, whatever the term is. They can help them, and that's a big part of the overall continuum of care. It's health care, it's proper nutrition. If you're diabetic, you want to let them be aware of the contents that's in that package.
So if folks want to get a hold of Patriot Vision, how do they contact you?
Yeah, so we're on the line as patriotvision.com. So that's one popular way. It's a simple way. It's really patriotvisionindustries.com, but you could just use either one, patriotvision.com. They can call toll free at 1-800-364-1608. And, we just want you to know that we exist, because that's the most common thing that our clients have said is, gosh, if I only would have known about you sooner, I'm so grateful now.
If I could have had this technology 5 years ago, and I would have had 5 great years that I missed.
Right. So we're making up with the technology. As soon as you get to see us, it's wonderful. But regardless, it's never too late. It's always something that I always say to everyone, and it's been like an incredible. Well, let me give just one testimony that comes to mind. Is a client said to me, "I'd rather die than live a day without your technology." And I said, "Sir, certainly that cannot be the case. I mean, come on, that's no. I'm telling you, my wife died, married for 67 years, and I want to read the Bible. I'm 93 years old. I want to read this newspaper. I'm old man. I'm old man. It's the way he described it was just, and I really had to apologize. I'm like, I now I think I could feel what you're saying, and it's very emotional. It is. It's a truly emotional type situation. It's just great when you feel like you're put on the planet to do something that really affects people's lives in a positive way.
Now, how is AI going to increase the capacity of these visually impaired tools?
Yeah. So what we've done is we've harvested it's unlimited AI through our machine here too, by the way. So
this machine here that's reading also has
can do
AI.
Yeah, it does.
How does the person who's listening interact with the machine to dig down into more information.
It's interesting. You're always like surprised, like how well it can describe things. So what we've done is given a synopsis. So if you put something down, you could have every word read, but it's really what you want to know. It knows what you want to know because it's based on so many tens and tens of thousands of images that have been thrown, tens of thousands, hundreds and millions of images, but it takes over 10,000 images just to try to describe one image. It's incredible the quantum math that goes on involved with this. And so having the ability to think of it this way, having a sighted person by your side helping you to know everything that you really did want to know but didn't know who to ask because there was nobody there. And so you're doing it yourself.
So are you like talking to the machine?
Not yet. That's a great question. That's a great question. So we have technology available for our line of products that you can speak to. In fact, the wearable here, you could make all the commands by voice. But this one, it's the opposite.
You picked up a wearable. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, this one has got the most attention. In fact, when my son took it on the road, I say, my youngest son, by the way, 3 sons in the company. It's crazy.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I know. That's amazing. They're unbelievable. They're all 3 incredibly unique in their different talents. But the youngest one, Charles, he was 18. He says, "Hey, Dad, I'm going to make your company great again." And I went, "What? What did you just say?" My company great again.
I'm still great.
Yeah, I said, "Yeah, you've been fed. Here's a shelter. Here's a roof over your head." And he took this one product. It's crazy how he did it. And he called me from Texas. He wanted me to know that there was no speed limit where he was at, or he felt like it was higher. There's a higher speed limit. That's funny. But he says, "Dad, I think it's going to be your most popular product." And I was like, "Oh, I've been around for a long time. Everyone loves our stuff." He was right. Single-handedly, this product, when worn, you have no vision impairment. That's pretty much how it sums up. Now, you still are visually impaired, but when you wear it, it brings your vision from 85 years old vision that's legally blind to like 18 years old. That's one client said to me. So to enjoy a ball game or to see your grandkids play soccer or to just Mother Nature. I mean, one lady said, "Oh my God, I could see the mildew and moss on my fence." And I or the dew on the leaves. And I'm like, I never thought of that. Like how that bit of detail is so critical in feeling you're alive.
I know this morning, I walked out to our koi pond in the backyard, and my wife said, "Look at that lily, how it blossomed, last night, and it's coming out, and that's part of the miracle."
A miracle, right? No, right? Exactly. A fella said, I got to see my daughter walk down the aisle. I never thought I would. He's an incredible fellow. It's just testimonial, and I was like, wow, I'm glad, that we could help you, and so you're traveling or you're live venues, opera. There was a lady, I'll tell you the story. She purchased our Viewpoint, and she called her daughter and she said, "Honey, I'm going to see Hamilton." Like this play, right? I didn't even know at the time what it was like. And the daughter, I could hear on the other end of the line saying, "Mom, I know you're going to Hamilton." She goes, No. I'm going to actually see it. Like instead of just hearing it, like I'm going to see it. Yeah, she was profoundly visually impaired, had a cane, had a dog, doesn't matter. Her vision is way beyond the Big E. Like the Big E she couldn't see the Big E at all, but she could use this and she enjoys plays all over the world. Like she's crazy, like incredible lady. And met her at a convention, and it's just another one. It's just so many stories of how this technology impacts their life. And
well, let's talk about this. This says gear.
So the Patriot Viewpoint has a sliding trackpad on the right side. You swipe forward to magnify and zoom in, swipe backwards to minify. It's like bionic vision type thing, So you could zoom in to infinity 30 times. You could bring something 300 feet like it's 3 feet away or even closer. And then it has the capability of changing the environment, so the contrast or the colors, enhancing, embellishing color, You can even do line art. So someone with RP, retinitis pigmentosa, can see detail with a black background with white lines. That's kind of a unique thing to that eye condition. And then you could brighten the environment, or you can darken it. So just by swiping forward, backwards, up, or down. So easy enough to use. Besides, you could use your voice. It can convert text to speech. If you're holding something in front of you, it'll read it to you. It'll show it to you like a teleprompter in the screen. Yeah, and the colors that you like and the size that you require.
So, in other words, what was it, 10, 15 years ago, people started putting on, these devices, right?
For playing games.
For playing games.
Yeah,
right?
and I'm like, no, that's all lovely. Don't get me wrong, but and we waited until the proper technology for the headgear came out, and then we did the software code, and we, put physical attributes to the unit. So it took it some time, and that's exactly right. I think you said it right. It was 2018. Samsung had released the newest technology that we needed to harvest, in a way unimaginable. Like that's why we made this headset. It just, we adapted it, and we creatively figured out a way to open up that world of vision that was missing.
Do you have any idea of how many people in the United States are visually impaired?
So, the statistics I've heard were like 25 million probably, but it may be more actually. It's, and what constitutes visual impairment. It's typically legally defined as like 20 over 200 or in a field of view loss type thing. I know that as we aged, and we are living longer than ever, demographics are skewed towards needing help with various modalities, and vision being one of them. So I think it's forecasted to be a business that continues to grow based on the population aging. Yep. And the technology is continuing to evolve to make it more efficient and make it more affordable. Machines were $7,000-8,000 back in the day. Now they're a lot less. And so I think that's good, the efficiency of how the technology is being developed. And we have a lot of exciting things today, and looking forward to a lot of things in the plan for the years ahead.
It's interesting because in our law firm, we're looking at how AI is going to change the landscape as well. I mean, what we're learning is that AI can really push things forward. You still have to edit, you still have to check things out, and you still have to make sure that, because AI is early in its development. Right. It's really, 2 years or so that AI,
Yes.
ChatGPT,
Correct.
jumped on the, landscape, and all of a sudden it's like, we can ask it a question. And, it's interesting because you can communicate with AI in a way that it gives you ideas. You want to create your own original content, but you can communicate with it in such a way so it gives you great ideas, customizes the responses. And I imagine for your devices that are visually impaired, that's a new frontier.
It is, and it's going to be constantly growing. And so we're excited, even after 40 years. I mean, that's, close to 40 years, to think that I stayed not only in the industry like I chose to do, but I wake up excited about what it is that's going to happen today. So my youngest son, my middle son, my oldest son, John Robert Charles, he was just here in Gainesville, actually, VA, visiting a VA actually. And he's pioneering, heading up an incredible device that we hope to release sometime next year. Maybe by the end of this year. And he served, so when COVID hit, he traveled the whole world for the company, where he was in many different countries for my company, the one that was Make Your Company Great Again, that one. So when COVID hit, he said to me, I'm going to go in the Marines. And do you know he did? 4 years in the Marines in Okinawa, and meritoriously promoted a half dozen times, made sergeant, and got his college degree finished up, on his master's now, and in the company. It's incredible. And now he is a veteran. And he's an active reserve. He's in reserves as well, so he's got a lot of things going. But he's back, and so, and the other two, it's just amazing. So, and then employees. I have employees. My office manager's been with me 34 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a lot of employees. They retire.
That's pretty amazing. And the veteran community is exposed to a lot of hazards, right?
They are, yeah, and the VA being one of the options to pay for a device if they're qualified veteran. But whether when you have value that's far exceeds what it is that you're getting, you're going to be happy making that purchase. We're consumers. We're very careful with our money. There's no doubt that we're going to put anything to the test. And that's all we could ask is just an opportunity for you to preview our technology and see what it can do for you and your life.
So it's Patriot
Vision.com.
Pardon?
PatriotVision.com is the easiest way.
I like Patriot Vision because when people are listening, it's hard enough for me to remember one word, let alone 3 words.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It was opportune that we could get that. We've been approached by some bigger sports teams and things about this, like our name. But PatriotVisionIndustries.com is the website. PatriotVision.com points to the website, so it's like a nickname for the longer name.
Right.
It's
so
simpler.
Here's the thing: if you have vision problems, you want to go talk with John over at Patriot Vision, and the reason is because there's limitations on what the doctor can do as far as improving your vision, and I'm sure my ophthalmologist and his whole team over there have a lot of knowledge. However, what I'm hearing you saying is that there's limitations right now,
correct,
on what can be done with for medical treatment to enhance your vision.
Exactly right. One of the retina doctors spoke recently, and he described it the best that I've ever heard. It's like he said, back when John started his business, you were diagnosed with macular degeneration, and you were almost made blind because there was nothing we had. Now, I'm going to keep you driving another 10 years. I'm going to keep you more independent. You may never need his equipment, is the way he said it. And you hope that you don't, but if you do, it's there. And that's what we found. So there's been this more effective treatments to basically slow down the vision loss, so that chances are you'll be passing away before you even go blind. That's kind of like the way it's going on. But regardless, the tools are here for you to live life now until there's a cure for blindness. That's why I kind of say it. Do what you need to do, what you can do now.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show because it's certainly educated me. There are so many people in our community in North Central Florida that are visually impaired, and sometimes just knowing that there's hope, right?
Is
exactly.
Huge.
It
is. It's an optimistic world in that you basically know that you don't have to give up. There's some options, and the options are fantastic, actually.
Well, actually, going from 1985 to 2025, you've really been a pioneer in the field.
That's what a lot of people have told me.
No, I mean, really. I mean, you
listen.
devote 40 years of your adult life to helping people improve their life through, better vision. And seeing the changes. And, I can't imagine if we come back and do this interview 3 years from now, right? It's going to be like, well, back in 2025, we were just on the beginning of, the trip,
I had this gentleman, I'll never forget. He was 103 years old. And he says, you have a moment? And he purchased a piece of technology, and I happened to be with him when he did it. I mean, yeah, sir. What's up? He goes, I gotta tell you a little story. Okay. He says, I witnessed the very first automobile. I witnessed the very first airplane. I witnessed the very first rocket. I witnessed the very first, and he just went on and on to all these incredible examples. I didn't bother to sit down and think about the enormity of what he's saying. I think about, he witnessed technologies that were running water, like in the home. He witnessed it all. He goes, and now I am 103, and if this will help me over the next several months, who knows when the Lord's going to take me. This is another incredible witness. And I was like, wow, I'm just getting faster internet next week. That's all I have. So yeah, so he, to think, it's just amazing.
Yeah, to put it in perspective, that people who are visually impaired, I always was, impressed with their ability to navigate just walking across the street with a guide dog and a cane, right?
Right,
and I was like, man, I don't know if I could do that,
Right. No, there's a difference. Also, we noticed with clients who are born blind and clients who later become legally blind. But you're right. They're very, very, very adept, and they're wonderful. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, so I'm around a lot of blind people. I go to all the conventions all over the country. It's a lot of different conventions, associations, and so forth. And it's inspiring. It's like awe striking, like what you witness.
Well, especially right now, what's going to happen with AI and just everything else. I mean, when you invest so much money, all these companies are rushing to put billions of dollars into developing AI. That it's going to explode, as we speak now. There's probably 50 major companies trying to explore how AI is going to help them grow in the future. And for those of you out there that either are visually impaired or know someone that is, go to Patriot Vision and find out what are the resources that can help you or your loved one or your friend to improve their life, because it's completely different than it was 40 years ago. It's completely different than it was 20 years ago.
Correct.
And it's going to be completely different in a year from now. And I think one of the most touching things that, I've heard today is the fact how you give people hope.
Yeah, it is. It's a great, reason to be on the planet, and and they continue to provide the feedback, and the comments, and I witness what they accomplish with it. It's like a guitar. It's just a guitar. It's just there's that thing with strings, and it makes music. Well, that's what they're doing with our equipment. They're like making music, like profound changes, and it's just, you feel it. It's an emotional connection. That's what it is.
Well, I want to thank you, John Palmer, with Patriot Vision, for joining us on Meldon Law and Friends. We'll look forward to visiting your store and hanging out for a little while and see what's going on and continuing our friendship, because one of the goals of Meldon Law and Friends is to let everybody know who's in the community, what's going on, how we can help people. And what you're doing is great. The fact that you have 3 kids is inspiring. I'm excited because I have a son and a daughter,
right? And
my son's been with me since 2009. And this year, my daughter, who's also an attorney, decided to join us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's special. It's special.
Like really,
they didn't have to. They, you can only hope that they want.
Hey, we must be doing something right if our kids decided to join up with us, because usually kids want to go in a different direction, right?
That's right.
I want to commend you for that as well. So anyhow, that's a wrap on this edition of Meldon Law and Friends. However, I'm going to be back in just a few minutes with all of our community announcements. So thank you for listening and viewing. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Jeffrey, what are you doing? doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Cary allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was going to see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're going to have a great experience there. And I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Call Meldon Law right now.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there. Say hi.
Hey!
You again.
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Somebody else hit us.
Here we go again. Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, founder and attorney at Meldon Law, and we are having a blast. By the way, as we speak today, April 1st, 2025, the men's basketball team for the Gators is in the Final Four. I was in San Francisco last weekend in order to root on the Gators and watch them win 2 great games there. That was really exciting. And my wife, Patricia, and I are heading out to San Antonio Friday to go root on the Gators to a national championship in basketball. For those of you that don't follow Gator basketball, it's been a remarkable progression under head coach Todd Golden, who's 39 years old. He started coaching the team when he was 36 years old. The 3 other coaches in the Final Four are all 65, 69, and 70, which goes to show you how long it can take to build up the resume and build up a program to get into the Final Four. So kudos to Todd Golden, my good friend and coach at the University of Florida men's basketball program, for getting to the Final Four. I hope that, we have many more Final Four visits because they're special. This is actually the 6th Final Four we've been in. I've been to all 6 of them. 94 was in Charlotte, and 2000 was in Indianapolis, 2006 Indianapolis, 2007 Atlanta, 2014 Dallas, and this year it's in San Antonio. So I feel very blessed to have been able to go to all those Final Fours. I love Gator basketball. It's really part of my life and fun. So this is really kind of cool. So let's root on the Gators. Saturday at 6 o'clock is the first game of the 2 games on Saturday, and that's when the Gators are going to be playing a very, very good team coached by Bruce Pearl, who coaches Auburn. So let's see what happens and bring home a championship. Other things going on in the community, we have the 5th annual Macon Bacon event. It's called the Bacon Fest in Williston, Florida at Heritage Park, April 5th, Saturday. It starts at about 11 in the morning and goes till late. and there's going to be great food, a lot of bacon. So those of you that have clogged arteries, you may want to give it a second thought. However, if you don't have clogged arteries and you want great food, go out to the Macon Bacon Festival this Saturday, April 5th at 11 o'clock at Heritage Park. It's on Main Street in Williston. Music, food, all kind of local artisans are going to be there. So it should be fun. Savannah Center at the Villages. Hi, shout out to all our friends in the Villages. There is going to be a show called Simply Tina at the Villages. And it is a group that has taken the music and performances of Tina Turner and created an incredible rock and roll party. They do a great imitation of Tina Turner, and they were chosen actually by the Tina Turner group to be authorized to do the show. So they're good, they're fun. April 5th at 7 p.m. at the Savannah Center at the Villages. Simply Tina, that's it. So check them out. Back in the day when I founded the Great Southern Music Hall in Gainesville in 1974, a year later we had Ike and Tina Turner's review at the Great Southern, and the real Tina Turner performed, and she was a knockout. That's 50 years ago. Tina's always been a dynamite performer. I know she was very, very well respected by Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones, and they in fact had her opening act on some of their shows. So if you like Tina Turner and the music and energy she produced, check them out at the Villages Saturday, April 5th at 7 p.m. The Ocala Oyster Fair. I love oysters. Let's see. Saturday, April 5th at 235 Northeast Watula Avenue in Ocala. Get ready for a shuckin' good time with live music and tasty bites from our food hall restaurants all day long at the Oyster Festival with live music. Sounds like fun. Lake City. Shout out to Lake City. HCA Hospital Corp of America, Florida, is expanding the Lake City Hospital, and they're opening a tower there. We're going to celebrate the completion of the HCA Florida Lake City Hospital. It's a 2-story tower expansion with private tours of the state-of-the-art facility. I'm not sure how you get a 2-story building called the tower, but they do. So let's give them poetic license to call their 2-story building a tower. I've looked at the renditions of it, and it's really pretty cool. And I don't care if it's 1 story, 2 stories, or 50 stories. If they give you good health care, that's what counts. Another big thing in Gainesville, the Town of Tioga concert with my dear friend Elio Piedra. We love Elio. You know, he's got a new all Spanish-speaking station, 2 Fiesta Radio, 95.7 FM. So check it out, because Elio is definitely the music man. So Friday, April 11th, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Tioga Town Center, just west of Gainesville. You're going to see Elio Piedra there leading the music. Everybody's going to be dancing. There's going to be food out there. There's tons of stuff going on. And for those of you that have never seen Elio perform and put on his show, he's a accomplished musician who was trained classically on piano and percussions, and he integrates that into a really fun, exciting time. So again, Town of Tioga, Friday, April 11th, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Just show up out at the Town of Tioga and you will be there. A lot of things going on in Meldon Law as far as ticket giveaways. If you go to our Facebook page and go to Meldon Law, you will see lots of ticket giveaways. This Saturday, a top program from Vandy is coming in. So the Vanderbilt baseball team is coming to play the Gators for a 3-day competition, 3-day series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we will be giving away great seats for the Gator baseball team. Enjoy it. Same with the women's softball team. They're really rocking and rolling. They got their star pitcher back, so things are looking good. At Meldon Law, we help people put their lives back together after serious accidents. So if you want our help, just give us a call at 352-373-8000 or go to meldonlaw.com. I've written books on how to buy Florida auto insurance and also what to do if you're in a crash or in any accident. What are some of the steps you should do to protect yourself under Florida law? Those are all free. All you have to do is go to our website and go to the home page right at the top. You'll see download our books, and you'll be able to be up to date as far as what kind of insurance you need and what to do in the event of an accident. They're free. And if you want the consumer guide, the book sent to you, just call the office at 352-373-8000, and we'll have one sent to your doorstep. So take advantage of it, because nowadays most people in the state of Florida have little or no insurance. So if they're at fault in an accident, you better have uninsured motorist coverage, or you may be eating a couple $100,000 in expenses or more because someone else was careless, caused a crash, and you didn't have uninsured motorist coverage. I discuss it all in our book, Buying Florida Auto Insurance. You can read it in 15 minutes, and all my suggestions are on one page. So don't be intimidated by me calling it a book. It's really a consumer guide that I wrote in 2007 and have updated it year after year to make sure the information's current. And it basically outlines how to protect yourself, your assets, your family, whether you're in a car, you're walking, on a bike, in many other circumstances, in someone else's car, in your car, and it applies to you, your kids that are living with you. A lot of people are covered under your auto insurance, particularly if you have uninsured motorist coverage. So please, we see it every day where people's lives are turned upside down and they have no avenue because there's no insurance. Don't leave yourself vulnerable. Make sure you're properly insured. I don't sell insurance. However, I've seen the destruction it does to families, so that's why I implore people to be smart and get good coverage. Anyhow, that's what's going on in the world at Meldon Law. We are doing great work. I'm so proud of our team. We communicate with our clients more than any other firm in this market. We work really hard to get maximum results, and we usually do. So don't forget our name. It's Meldon Law. We're here to help in the event of a serious accident that's turned your life upside down. So that's going to be a wrap for this edition of Meldon Law and Friends, and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much for listening and viewing our show.